So this is probably just placebo combined with the fact that I'm now gaining weight from eating more food. So I just physically am getting bigger slowly. But I was last night I'm looking, brushing my teeth before bed, and I'm just sitting doing like a front relaxed. I swear my lats looked like they were getting a little bit more flared out than normal. At least to the point I'm like, oh shit. And in my mind, what I would connect the dots training wise to that is the pullover machine and that pull down machine in the back corner of the private space, because both of those hit my lats so high up, which is kind of one of my weak points lat wise, right? Because my lats tied down really low, like they insert pretty close to just where my hips are, right? If you've ever seen somebody with high lat insertions, right, it might make their waist appear kind of smaller, and then their lats like just popping out of nowhere at the top. But no, so I've got them down a little bit lower. So as someone might look at that and think, fuck, I've got low lat insertions, because then the muscle is spread out over a larger area, so you've got to build more muscle to fill it in. Or if someone, I don't know, I guess usually people like having a longer bicep, but it's always a give and take, right? If there's more space for muscle, then it's going to take a while to really kind of fill it up. But I look at that only as a positive, because now that means I can get lat thickness all the way from my armpit down to damn near my waistline, right? But it takes a while to actually fill that in. But regular pull downs and rows and everything, I'm pretty in tune with like my lower lats, right? So even though it's all just one big ass muscle, like if I'm doing a set of squeezing pull downs, I end up feeling a lot of my lats like down low where they tie into like your lower back's erectors, right? What you call the Christmas tree. And not so much way kind of up here, like right underneath my armpit, So that pull down machine and that pullover, I think I've got to really bias those, so at least for a bit, and keep them in the rotation of my lat based work, because nothing's really hitting me like that. Even doing regular cable pullovers, those are much more like squeeze emphasized. And whenever I do like a rope pullover with both arms, I end up getting a bit of like lower chest that I'm not really aiming for, and it kind of just throws me off. Whereas the machine is much more just like evenly concentrated force across the entire rep range. Really, all I'm just trying to get at is like I'm feeling my upper lats a bit more than normal, so I want to keep up that sort of stimulus. Right? It's like the first time you ever do chest and you can actually feel your chest doing the work, not just like pushing the bar and you can tell your chest is getting like fatigued from doing so. So that's even shit. But 7 years of lifting on the regular, still getting better at kind of improving my mind muscle connection and trying to squeeze different portions harder and make sure I'm working everything in a relatively even basis. So that's I guess that's one little takeaway there. Try not to get too boxed in to thinking you're everything you're freaking talking about, because everybody's got room to improve training wise, from the freaking top Olympian characters to maybe not the Rugrats, that's probably a little too low, but to the regular ass high school guys who've been doing football lifts for 2 years, and now they want to take their expertise to like the YMCA instead of the strength room. But either way, I can guarantee within the hour I'm gonna have a back pump that might rip this shirt open. Probably not. This shirt's actually a little bit big, but still, that's the goal. So let's get after it. Oh, yeah, check that shit out. I get some mirrors up in this thing. This side's not done yet. The rest is gonna be kind of way over to there, but that's for tomorrow. That's they're gonna come back in and we're gonna put those last few in. But actually, I gotta back up a little more. Yeah, let's start simple. So I know I was hyping up that pull down machine and the pullover, but I kind of want to start with pull downs first, almost as like a pre-exhaust in a way, because even though the pullover is sweet, I don't want to do the pullover when I'm perfectly fresh and strong, because it'll kind of take away from the emphasis of like the squeeze and the stretch, right? It's like, I don't want to start with overhead tricep extensions. I want to start with something a little more just classic and basic in a sense, and then move on to that real isolation work, because it's almost like having the muscle pre-exhausted makes the movement more efficient with with lighter weight, so I don't have to really manhandle it too much. Like, I want to go heavy, as heavy as I can manage, but with the pullover or anything really isolated, there's a point where you start using so much weight that it's almost impossible to do with reasonable form, and then you end up using more forearms and biceps and, you know, lower chest trying to pull. It's like, that's not what I'm aiming for, right? I'm trying to balance as much weight as I can actually use and primarily target the intended muscle and not overdo it in any kind of underbalanced way. Like, sure, I could totally bias my lats if I did 10 pounds, but that's going to be too light, you know? So it's kind of a little bit of a balancing act. But straight up pull downs, slow-ish, with a squeeze and hold at the bottom. This will be good. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh crap. Whew. One more. Two. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. All right. Now what? You think pullovers or this pull down machine right behind me? Let's think for a moment. Ponder, if you will. Not too heavy, but heavy enough that I can really feel it. So, a little less than half, no, a little more than half the stack. And this thing goes up to freaking 400. I mean, I'm sure I'll get stronger as I do the movement over this off season, but a good set with the stack, I'm not so freaking sure. So let's buckle in. And then this set is gonna have a few portions of reps. Portion one, clean with a squeeze. So I wanna hold it down here at the bottom. I really kinda wanna like run into my hips and push extra hard, come back full stretch, and then I'll get to a point where I can't hold it at the bottom. And I'll just do regular tempo reps in a way. And then I'll get to a point where I can't get all the way to the bottom, and I'll just do partials until I really can't get any substantial reps. So those are the 3 phases here. Oh. All right, let me get this song playing. All right. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yeah, let's run that up. But yeah, after those pull down sets, I was feeling some like maybe lower traps, lower lats. Ooh, yeah, after that one, all I'm feeling is right up here, which I'm hoping is gonna help add some width on the top. Oh, honestly, shit, I'm just gonna camp out here till I think I've kind of got every bit of juice out of it as possible. Holy crap. Yeah, that feels really good. Honestly, shit, probably 2 more here. So, these reps are actually fucking hard. And what I mean by that is like the burning sense I'm getting during these is way more than like a regular pull down or like a pullover or something. So half of my kind of battle right now with trying to take it to real failure is fighting against that discomfort, you know? It's like if somebody told me to do 100 rep set of leg extensions with a squeeze, with lightweight, sure, it might not be like physically moving a ton of weight every rep, but that burn is what really gets you. And I think that's my weaker point when it comes to training. Like, I think I have an easier time doing like an 8 rep nasty balls to the wall set, whereas longer, more endurance, squeezing, slow tempo based reps are probably less so my forte. So it takes a little extra focus for me to really make them happen. All right. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay. I think that's enough here. Let's go do that machine pull over way over there in the corner. Oh, or pull down, I mean. 1 plate and a 25 will do quite well. And this is going to be a similar set to the last one. I want to squeeze and hold for a second, then get to the point where I can just do regular reps and then just burn out with regular partials. You know, I can't really, I mean, I don't think anybody would argue against it, right? But I don't take your form too seriously. Now, that's a silly thing to say. Obviously, take your form seriously. But I think what I really mean is, like, you know, if you're doing a regular ass straight set and it's a movement where partials make sense, like if you're doing leg press, you're not doing partials. You've got to go all the way up and all the way back down every time, and then re-rack it when you know you can't get one more, or have somebody like help rack it, or maybe two people, to make sure you don't get smushed, right? Same thing with like barbell bench. There's not much room for partials. It's just kind of full reps until failure. But with movements like pull downs or hamstring curls, or I mean, sometimes rows to an extent, depending on the machine, partials will make sense because you've got some muscle left in the tank, or some energy in the tank, to do even just minute reps. And just based on pump and fatigue, I know that those partials are doing something. So it's not such that I want every rep to be length and partials only, but I'm saying work up to that. Clear reps in the beginning, dirty reps toward the end. And by dirty, I just mean not complete, and maybe use a little body language to get them moving. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, shit. Oh, one more. Yeah. Oh, man. Holy crap. Holy shoo. Alright, I know what the finisher's gonna be. And today's gonna be a lat focused day, that's for dang sure. This will be a nice finisher. Long D handles. Actually, let me get a better song going. Yeah, so long D handles with a bench on like a 45 incline at yay distance. And it'll kind of be a combination, right? Because I'm like, I want to get a good lat stretch in the top and then lean back and make the squeeze more of a row. You see what I'm saying? But I think this will be it. Plus, having a stack with like an extra 60 pounds than normal. Yeah, no need for any extra weight either. This is perfect. There we go. Oh my God. Oh. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, that's good. Shit, that was a little weaker than I expected. In a good way. But let's get some lighting going. See how back's looking. That was good. Yeah, I haven't felt my lats burning this much for quite a while. I think I might need to start implementing some lat focus days and maybe some trap focus days too. Or upper back, more like. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Now this is kind of cool looking. Having the two mirrors opposing sides and everything else. Very nice. I knew that would open up the space a bit more, but let's see how we're looking. So, very lat focused. Frankly, I feel like somebody put something under my armpits and it's making me walk around like this. Back when I was doing gymnastics, we were always talking about invisible lat syndrome, ILS. You know, that's where somebody's walking around, you know, like this, acting extra big. Yeah, I feel like I finally got it. Like, I can't even, unless I cross my arms, like this is as narrow as I can get. They're not even like vertical. Oh, jeez. Well, either way, that's just fun for me. So let's see how we're looking. Pose down wise. And this should be, honestly, probably one of my biggest lat pumps guaranteed of the year. Maybe not ever, but I'm cool with that. I've still got a while to get back to PR body mass. Oh, all right. Yeah, let's run through some here. Let me turn this down just a touch. And there we go. Oh, okay, all right. Then now, same thing from the back. Yeah, and this is good. I can kind of see my own reflection too, so I can make sure my arms are the right height. Yeah, this is sweet. Oh yeah. We're getting wide, that's for freaking sure. Oh my gosh. Holy shit. Yeah. That was a good lift. But I'll be real with you. I am not in perfect fighting form today. That is for sure. I don't know what I ate. Because I didn't eat anything freaking weird. Like, I've been eating pretty, what somebody would argue as clean meals. Like, I'm talking rice, potatoes, ground beef, eggs. You know, I'm doing some white toast with breakfast, but it's not too crazy. But, dude, my guts are like, just, I don't even know. So, that can really mess with you. You know, I mean, let's say you got some stuff going on down under, and you've got a leg day. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't blame somebody for not wanting to squat if they think that they, if that the internal pressure might result in a pretty severe accident. I've never totally lost it like that. I've heard stories of guys on the leg press or like hack squat, or they've needed to change their underpants. And, well, let's just hope that I can learn from their mistakes and not have to make them myself. But the fact that today was back, not much of a problem at all. But I would much rather prefer everything be in perfect working order. So hopefully this is just like a day-long thing or something. Whether or not that's TMI, it does relate to the training, so I think it's worth mentioning. I'm sure everybody else has been there in one way or another, whether they want to admit it or not. But sweet lift. These two freaking lights are sweet. Yeah, I knew these would be cool. But either way, back complete. Let's get out of here, man. All done. All right. Yeah, good lift. I'm ready to go home, eat some food, get ready to try to go to sleep early. I got to get back on my like 5:30 alarm kind of routine. That is kind of the best way to do it. But I've got a little bit of a discussion to propose, right? Let's, no judgment, no, what's not the phrase there? No, keep an open mind, right? What do we really think about the effective volume of working out, right? Because everybody's got their own take as of late, right? I'm talking upper, lower. So that would be almost, I think, about 50% more frequency than a regular like push pull legs, rest, kind of repeat sort of situation. Right? So what are we really thinking here? Because obviously there's a certain amount of just workload physically that you can actually recover from in a kind of perpetual basis, right? Where it's like in a week you did, X amount of damage, and it's within range of, with the amount of food and rest and hydration you're getting, it actually, makes sense that you're recovering and over-recovering into building new muscle, new strength, just simply making gains, right? Now, I can easily say that if somebody, not even somebody, let's just say me specifically, right? Let's say that back day, I did 3 times the volume. So that was, what, let's think. So, pull down, pull over, did I do 3? And then 2 sets of machine pull downs, and then a finisher set of rows, kind of half cable-ish, something or other. So 8 sets, right? Let's say I did 3 times that many, all with about the same, effort level, and did 24 sets. Do I think that would give me any better results, muscle stimulus-wise? Not necessarily convinced, man. Because by then I won't necessarily be getting more pumped and more fatigued in kind of a good way. I feel like I'll kind of just be over-stressing my, my lats and my back and everything, to the point where I feel like I'd just be building up a, shit ton of lactic acid, and I'd be, I'd be sore, but not in a way that's actually conducive with making progress, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sure, you might actually, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like you might feel like more is better. And I was definitely there for a while, right? As a beginner, I was sitting here doing 25 sets per body part per lift. So, I was doing, I was doing chest and back, legs, and arms at the time. That was my routine. So I remember one time I missed a lift. We were on a vacation. We just drove up to Michigan. By the time I got there, all the gyms were closed. I was like 17 at the time. I don't think, did I even have my license? I don't know. We took the van, and I put my bike on the back of it, so that when my brother and my dad were golfing or whatever else, I would ride my bike to the gym up there. What was I going to say? And I had missed a lift, right? I had missed chest and back, so I added it to the next day, and I did a damn near 100-set workout. Because I did 25 sets of back, 25 sets of chest, 25 sets of curls. It just kind of fluff, right? And to make up for the fact that was so much volume, the sets intensity was a bit lighter. Like, I was still pushing pretty hard. Even back then, there were definitely a lot of sets that were to failure. But if I was doing 25 for triceps, all those sets were not like totally killing it to complete failure. They must have been a bit fluffier. I can't remember exactly what they looked like, which kind of makes me wish I started recording them a little more. But then it's kind of tricky, because like if you record all your sets, especially earlier on when you're working out, sometimes it can kind of distract you from the actual work. It's kind of a fine line there. But the basic gist is I definitely overdid it with the volume, when I probably could have got the same results, if not better, from condensing that volume into more intense sets. So that's where I think some guys are a bit conflicted now, in a way, where it's like, okay, well, nobody's saying 25 sets a workout. We're kind of over that. But it's like, what is the number that we're actually kind of thinking of? Is it 10? Is it 12? Is it 2? Is it 1 set a week, like a Mike Mentzer, right? Is it something like that? Who's to say exactly? But yeah, I'm getting distracted. There's an ambulance behind me. It's way back, but it's coming. But where's that number, right? So for me, I don't have a specific number in mind, but what I end up doing is basically just grading the lift off of when am I fully stimulated, right? When have I completely reached a point where I can say, all right, I'm as pumped as I can be. I know that I did enough to actually at least give myself enough fatigue to need to recover from it and then come back stronger the next week or the next half week when I do back again, right? And usually for me, that ends up being around that 7 or 8 set mark. Like today I did a little extra, right? Today was an 8 set back day, but usually I've been doing 7. I think 7 has kind of been my number across the board. Like I think when I did quads 2 days ago, that was about 7 sets, because it was 5 sets of leg press and then 2 sets of pendulum squat with some leg extensions to pre-exhaust. Same thing with arms. So that might just be me, and maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, I've got like some kind of subconscious thing that makes me do just that amount of sets. But, just using logic, I can kind of explain to myself why that would make sense, right? Because I'm doing as many sets as hard as I can for the most part, sometimes heavy, sometimes light squeezing, sometimes a combination of both if it's like a drop set or something, to the point where at the end of the lift I can say I've reached a certain level of stimulus, and I'm grading that off of a combination of factors like how tired am I, is this the same amount of weights that I've been doing over the last few lifts, right? It's like, how has it all kind of played in together, plus the fact that I know what kind of gains I've made doing that kind of training over time. So for me at least, I think that's around the right about in volume where I can actually say this is efficient work, I'm not overdoing it, and I'm not leaving anything on the table. So I think that that's a reasonable approach, right? So the trick with that though is, it's not a written out program. Like I don't have it on a piece of paper, 2 sets of rows, 2 sets of pullovers, 2 sets of pull downs, all with the weights written out, like you might get if you're following a workout program, or especially the power lifters more so, like they've got 5x5 and things like that, where they're following numbers very specifically. This kind of style that I guess I'm sort of laying out is a bit more kind of, it puts a bit more responsibility on the lifter, right? Because, if I totally slacked off, or if I was the type of guy to like exaggerate the difficulty of a rep and like pretend I was going to failure, which I hate to see it. And it's even worse if it's just you doing that to yourself, like you're convincing yourself, oh, this is hard, okay, that's the end of the set, right? But it's kind of up to you to really push it on every set. But assuming that you're actually bringing it, I think that's all you need, but of course, don't just listen to me, try something out for yourself, right? Everybody's gone through all sorts of different workout splits. I've done all sorts of shit, right? I didn't do upper lower or full, I've never done full body, but I was doing a 2-day, like legs and arms and then chest and back. So I was doing 2 lifts a day plus the cardio, totally overdoing it. But I've done some pretty weird different workout splits, and it's kind of all led to me doing what I'm doing now, right? But sometimes you just gotta try shit and try it out, see what happens. If it works, sweet. If it doesn't work, try something else. But in either case, you still learn something about training in your own context. Because if I tried a workout split that was like, just, I don't know, for whatever reason it wasn't working, or like something about my diet wasn't working or anything else, then I can at least say, yeah, that doesn't work, or that doesn't work for me, and then try something else. And if it does work, yippee, right? You're making gains, so it's really just a trial and error thing. But the fun part about that is most of the grunt work of learning like basic shit about working out, it's all been discovered. People have been trying to gain muscle, get bigger and stronger for, I don't know how, for however many thousands of years, but at least recently bodybuilding wise, right? We get the gist. Reasonably heavy compounds, isolation, squeezing work, do your full range of motion, get a sweet pump, eat enough protein, get a good amount of rest, drink your water, take your pre-workout, take your freaking creatine. The gist of it is all written out. So that's where I think it's kind of silly to nitpick the details, because I don't think the details are what make the lifter. It's not the guy who has the perfect split who gets the most gains. I think it's the guy who just goes the craziest who gets the most gains. And when I say the craziest, he's got the most consistent training. He's got the most consistent diet. he's sleeping more than 4 hours a night because he's staying up late playing Warzone, right? I mean, those are the details that are really gonna add up to the actual progress that you're aiming to make, right? So when it comes to anything along the lines of like, oh man, should I do, I don't even know. I think upper lower is kind of trendy. Full body has been getting kind of trendy. It just, that's never, I'll kind of do my counter argument for full body training. I don't know, man. I just don't get it. It's in terms of just athleticism and just staying generally fit, like you're good. Like if you just wanted to stay in good shape, then honestly you've got pretty damn free range to do whatever you want. You don't even have to do weights. You can just do calisthenics running around. So I'm not saying like it's bad training. Coming to the gym and going hard at anything is a boost overall. But in a bodybuilding context, I mean, what am I supposed to do here? Warm up. It's like, how am I supposed to do everything that I'm supposed to do if I'm hitting my whole body in one day? Like you're trying to tell me I should load up the leg press or a squat and then, what do I do? Just one set and then move on to curls and then move on to triceps? So I'm not dogging on it. I guess I am in a way for me. But if you've ever messed with full body, I would actually kind of like to hear your input. So anybody who's actually done full body training for a consistent amount of time and has actually made progress doing it, I mean, shit, man, I'd love to hear your take. I've never messed with it, but just because it doesn't make sense in my mind doesn't mean it doesn't make sense for somebody else, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Try not to just totally discount everything. Hear what some people have to say. There's a ton of training used to be kind of thought of as pretty funky, but later on it usually ends up being kind of proved to be true. So just keep an eye out for the new meta, but don't be so swayed that you think you have to completely uproot your training just because you saw a video from whoever talking about some kind of something, right? You're the best case study that you can use for your own kind of gains and muscle building progress. It's not one that's been published. It's you just kind of experimenting with your own kind of training for yourself, and seeing what you can make happen. Because who cares what someone says is the most efficient way to build muscle? You've still got to do it on your own and then see if it works, right? I mean, there's freaking golfers out there. That's this weekend, right? The Masters, where somebody might analyze their swing and say, that's not really how you're supposed to be doing it. That's he should really be, whatever. He's in the Masters. Clearly he's doing something for him that works, and for everybody else, maybe it's a little unorthodox. So that's my shtick. Don't be afraid to stand out, because at the end of the day, if it works, it works. That's probably one of the freaking truest statements out there. But no more chatting. I will see you for something tomorrow. We'll just have to see.